About Nigeria and logistics. To present on that, we have the next speaker, Mr. Abubakr Abiola, Head of Operations from Starlink Global and Ideal Limited. Mr. Abubakr is in charge of Starlink's strategic and operational initiative. Due to his innovative solutions and process optimization strategies, he advanced to the position of Head of Operations after joining Starlink in 2016. He successfully coordinates, designs, and implements the logistic process for over 10,000 TEUs of agro-commodities, sesame seed, cashew, and cocoa being the most important one for Starlink. Despite the apparent challenges in Nigeria's logistics and shipping processes, his optimization techniques have proven efficient in increasing yearly export turnover. He has some important observations on the current situation when it comes to logistics and trade, especially of sesame, and he would share that over the course of the next 10 minutes. Over to you, Mr. Abubakr.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be part of this conference, the 2021 World Sesame Conference. We shall be discussing the impact of shipping and logistics on the Nigeria sesame seed industry. Nigeria is the 6th largest exporter of sesame in the world and the 4th largest producer of sesame in Africa. Currently, sesame is cultivated in 26 out of 36, more than 300 metric tons. Destination for Nigeria sesame seed are China, Turkey, Japan, Vietnam, and South Korea. Logistics, the goal of logistics is to ensure that goods are delivered in the right quantities at the right time, at a cost-effective manner, and to the right location. However, we know that there is a current global chain crisis as a result of the, and most recently, the global energy crisis. Definitely, this is going to have a serious impact on shipping, as 90% of world trade is done by ship, or is being shipped by the sea, and you have 70% with containers. This has resulted into port congestions. Even the most efficient ports in the world are battling with this. We also have serious container shortages. Am I audible? So we have serious container shortages, and we see shipping lines struggling to meet up with the demand, most especially in Asia, like China. Also, Nigeria also has a bit of container shortages also. Shipping lines are performing what we call blank sailing. And when we say blank sailing, it means that a vessel, parts or all of its voyage will be canceled. For example, a vessel picks up some goods from Nigeria and is expected to discharge in Lomé, but it would blank the call for Lomé and go straight to Las Palmas, waiting for another vessel to pick it up from Las Palmas to return it back to Lomé. So you will see that when you have blank sailings, it's going to result into longer transit periods. We also have high freight rates, which is very much unprecedented in the industry. This is the highest we have seen so far. It was actually estimated that maybe by 2022, early 2022, you should have been recovering. But with the new challenge as a result of the global energy crisis, I don't see that happening. And for Nigeria, the logistics aspect is one of the fastest growing industries in Nigeria. Is currently valued at around $700 million, though it's still very young. As comes to performance, it is ranked 112th in the Logistics Performance Index because 67% of deliveries in Nigeria do not meet up with the goals of logistics. Exports, 97% of exports in Nigeria is done through the waterways, and 88% is conducted through the Lagos port, where you have the Apapa port having 65% of the exports. Then the challenges come with it, which have majorly three components: the road, the port, and the waterway. The road, in terms of the deplorable road network, which has increased the travel time to and from the port. A journey of about 1 hour from Lagos mainland port, from Lagos mainland to the port would take you about 1 or 2 weeks as a result of the congestion. And we see a lot of regular truck and container accidents. Also, we see rampant cases of stealing and pilferage. Sometimes containers are hijacked as a result of this congestion on the road. As for the port is also battling with its own congestion even prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result of operational and procedural delays and inefficiencies, inadequate berthing spaces, decay in the port infrastructure, we have the proliferation of government slows down the process of the help and serve as ancillary to Apapa and the Lagos ports, which are the eastern ports, are battled with draft restrictions and sea piracy. So we are not able to have bigger vessels or large vessels, container vessels, to berth at these other ports and make this. That means that these ports are not functioning less than 1% of their capacity. So the bulk of the whole load is in Lagos, and that is why we are having serious congestion in Lagos. However, the government is actually trying as much as possible to mitigate these challenges. We've seen the construction or the reconstruction of the port access roads, changing it from flexible pavement to rigid pavement by the use of concrete. We're also seeing the massive infrastructural development in terms of standard gauge railway, where the government intends to connect all the ports in Nigeria and to also connect them to the hinterland. So the railway is supposed to serve as a alternative to the ports, to the roads rather. So it will reduce the amount of trucks moving on the roads, increasing the lifespan of the roads. So, and when you have a railway line that is connected to the ports, you'll be able to have a lot of transshipment wherein the goods which are usually sourced from the northern part of the country can easily be shipped right from the north, and you get your BL right from the north. Of recent times, we have seen a very drastic increase in the use of badges for the amount of the traffic on the road. Then we also have the construction of the deep sea ports, most especially the ports in Lagos, alternative to the Apapa ports and other. Of recent, the government approved Lily Pond at the dedicated exports terminal. So that means that the containers will not need to get into the APNT Apapa ports before they start the export process. But once they are at Lily Pond, the dedicated export terminal, the whole export process can start. And once they get into the ports, they will be loaded almost immediately into the vessel. However, with all these challenges we have mentioned, it's going to have an impact on the industry. And definitely, the challenges will always come with a cost when you are solving them, right? And therefore, the cost will be passed to the final consumer. And that is why we'll be having high cost of the goods. And that's one of the reasons why the cost in Nigeria is actually very high. Then we'll be seeing a lot of delayed shipments also, and which is very natural, with the rationing of vessels as a result of the berthing spaces and the delay in the whole export process. Then longer transit period, most especially when you have blank sailings. So imagine a shipment which was supposed to go to Lomé, but has to go to Las Palmas and spend maybe about 20 days voyaging, then wait for like 30 days before it's transshipped, another vessel comes to pick it up and back to Lomé. So a journey of maybe 2 days, 3 days it could take about 60 days. So these are the kind of situations we'll be having. And all this also will be seeing lots of contract defaults. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abubakr, for a very interesting perspective. I have just one question. You mentioned a series of challenges. Do you see how many of these challenges would be resolved, let's say, in 12 months' time or by the next season, maybe? Can you hear me, sir?
Now, with respect to the rail, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I see that we'll be having a functional rail system within the next 12 months. Actually, the rail operation has actually started, but it's still at the test running stage. But with the pace of the work which the government is doing, definitely before the next season, we have the rail connected to Lagos Port, most especially.
Okay, and I'll also want to know your answer to one of the questions which came up last session when Mr. Sandeep asked Mr. Sebastian, when, if you go to somebody in Nigeria and ask for sesame, when could be the earliest shipment be ready?
So if somebody has a sesame, maybe a request for like today, for example, this is late October, let's say November, the earliest shipment, all things being equal, will be end of November. That's the earliest you can get it. Earliest of November, that is when it can be loaded on board.
So earliest November is doable in your opinion? Hello?
Get it earlier than that. Late November. Let me get the first week of November. Then you should be getting maybe 4 weeks time. That is the end of November or early December.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for your presence and a very, very powerful presentation on the current scenario. You have been frank enough to tell what are the challenges and what's the way forward. Thank you so much. That's Mr. Abubakr Abiola, Head of Operations, Starlink Global Ideal Limited.